inspiration you're giving your fans now with Lies, who are you inspired by?
Oh, well, the biggest inspiration for me is Lucia Cifarelli, really, from KMFDM. She's the one that got me to start writing my own songs by just telling all of her KMFDM fans to go out there and be fierce and be fearless. And I've just always loved Lucia's voice and her songwriting ability. It just spoke to me from a really young age. I've been listening to them for probably like 2.5 decades now, which makes me really old. But I've been listening to them for a really, really long time. And I've always just been so fascinated how beautiful her voice is, but she can scream, and she can scream on pitch, and it sounds pretty. And I used to try that when I was a kid, and it sounded horrible. I sounded like a ferret caught in a blender. It was just the most miserable sound ever. I was like, okay, I can't do that. But I don't want to do that because that's Lucia's thing. I have to find my own thing. And I kind of did, because I can growl on pitch and find different words and growl. So I kind of gravitated towards that. But she's been a huge influence. And this is just somebody who is so incredibly, for the success that KMFDM has had, she has remained so genuine and so nice. And it means the world to me, because she really gave me the strength to move forward and try this and do this.
Oh, that's amazing.
That's so cool.
I love that.
That's so cool.
So, and I know you have different.
Well, my growing up influences mainly like classic rock. And I grew up in the 70s, so all my friends and myself, we were also listening to disco. So I love me some Donna Summer and Casey and the Sunshine Band.
Yes.
But at home, and I had older brothers, we were listening to the classic rock, and I found those classic rock bands that did the amazing harmonies. And my favorite band still to this day is Queen. And just, they're so amazing. And the layering of the harmonies, and I was just like, who is this amazing band? And oh my goodness. And any bands like, and the 70s had a lot of classic bands that were really into the harmonies.
Oh,
Kansas, yeah. And you know, there were a lot of bands that did that. And so I was like, okay, so you can harmonize and have rock and roll guitar behind it, and that's awesome to me. That's like the best of all things, because I got the harmonies from growing up in choirs, and then to hear rock bands that put that all together, I was like, oh, this is amazing. So for me, it's all the classic rock.